Welcome to this exciting new series of data science, machine learning, and deep learning mini tutorials. Essentially, it's like a boot camp for our users. And today we want to talk about a problem that comes up again and again among our interns is how to process and access data in a text file. And as you may know, data these days come with from all kinds of files or APIs, and one of the convenient way to store a large amount of data is in some kind of files. There might be a large data set might be split into many files, and some of these files could be .txt text file, .csv, comma separated values, or JSON, etc. And we want to start in this tutorial to start talking about how to work with some of these text files in both Python scripts as well as command line and to make them easier to work. Some of these files are so large, even though they may not seem so, um, they can have trouble loading in our text editor, such as Sublime, which is great, by the way. But it's sometimes these files are hard to fit in memory and be manipulated in memory. So I found this really generous API from the New York Metropolitan Museum of Arts, MET. And this is a open access API. You do not have to be authenticated, so it makes it easier for us to demo. It's a very generous API, which we should be respectful to. I will leave you to read the terms of usage of data. As data scientists, we should always read that carefully. Something that stood out was there's a number of recommended limit of requests per minute. There are definitely Pythonic way as well as command line ways to delay the number of requests per minute, and we should use that when possible to be respectful to API and websites. So one of the endpoints I find kind of useful is that this public art object list. So this, when I enter the HTTP request or use a HTTP request object, the get method, I can get a list of objects back. And these list of object IDs are actually open access artwork. They do change, so watch out a little bit. They do change. Um, and there are a total of almost 500K object IDs to work with. And let's say I want to access some of this public domain artwork for my research. Um, I want to work with this file of IDs. And sometimes when I have a list of IDs or data, it's really nice to be able to load it into pandas as a column of like series data, or load it in SQL as a column and or as a list so we can iterate through. And this is looks like a convenient list, but it still needs some cleaning up to work with, because we can see there in this object there are two fields. One is total, one is object IDs. And you can see that this is actually not a JSON object, because JSON is a JavaScript string object. Everything should be surrounded with quotes, and that is not the case. So with Python, we just need to be a little careful how to read this. So I've Command A, Command C, copy, and then paste this into Sublime and saved it as a text file, which I call objectsid.txt. This is the file we'll be working with for the next few tutorials or so.